Ha! I'm back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping. Geez, one day off.
It's like you're out of practice.
And sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, and frankly, the only guy now who's has been on every show. Andy, how was it yesterday?
Yeah, I am the Iron Man. I'm the Iron Horse. I am Lou Gehrig and Cal Ripken combined. I've been on every single show. I've never missed one. I even did a bonus one on Christmas that didn't even air. So I'm doing great. Yeah, it sucked going solo yesterday, but you know, your internet speed was at dial up. Like it is what it is. Technical stuff. We can't fight through that. We're still
as you described it started with a K.
Yeah. When it starts in K bytes and not M bytes, that's good, or bits or whatever. I don't know what all the abbreviations mean, but yeah, we're just going to jump right into it because we've got a good golf guest today and we have a few basketball bets to get to before we start talking Farmers Open. So lead it off NBA wise.
We will start in the association. A money line I really like tonight. The Sacramento Kings are underdogs to the Orlando Magic. I make them a small favorite in this game. I think especially since the loss of Markelle Fultz, the Magic have, again, really struggled at that point guard position with a lot of their guard play. Cole Anthony had a solid game the other night, but I like the matchup here. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to have a good game. Sacramento has a couple bigs they can throw at Vucevic. It should be able to slow him down a little bit. Really happy to grab Sacramento at plus money here. Again, I have them a small favorite, about 1.5 points. So I'm happy to grab the plus money, even though somebody gave us the Malloy, Andy.
Yeah, that'll happen, we're going to fight through it. I mean, GameStop is right now.
That's right. Got to rise above, folks.
Got to rise above it. No unders?
No, we'll get there. You know what the heck? We'll just go right there. We'll go there. We'll go under first. Dallas, Utah, under 222. Both teams have been under teams this year. I make this total 218. So this is where I stop, folks. I actually grabbed 223. If you follow me on the BetSperts app at Alex Christensen with no space, you have a 223. I would still play 222. Anything lower than that, stay away from it. I don't think it's a big enough edge. But we'll go to an under here in what should be kind of a slower game. Dallas, I think, is actually going to have the first game they've had, I think, all year with a full lineup. So I think you'll see a little slowness there and some time for them to gel. Plus, things tend to get slower when KP is involved. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I haven't really watched a Mavs game where they're completely healthy ever. I'm not sure for the last couple of years. So it'll be exciting to do that once in a while. And I'm a big, I'm a big Lucas stan. I've got some rookie of the year. He's not that young anymore.
No,
I have some Luke MVP. I need LeBron to calm his shit down a little.
Just need to get Dallas going. I think LeBron will start resting games, and hopefully things will work out because I've got some of that Luka too. Let's jump back to that spread that I had up on the screen already. Phoenix -6. This is on the move. Let me see where this is at right now. I actually grabbed 5.5 here. 6 is, I think 7 is starting to pop. Yeah, it looks like there's some 7 starting to pop. If you're playing 7, maybe half a unit instead of a full unit. I'm drawing the line for myself here at 6. But like this spot for Phoenix, I make them about a 9, almost 10-point favorite here against Oklahoma City. Al Horford continues to be out, so it should be a good night for DeAndre Ayton. Looks like Booker's okay, so happy to grab Phoenix here and lay the points.
Yeah, I like that, especially since you got a better number.
That's right. And the last
case for my bet.
The last side we have here, we're going to lay the points with Brooklyn here. As much as my model wants me to bet the under, I'm just not going to bet Brooklyn unders probably for a little while. Maybe not ever again. That was rough for a little while. I think we got out just about break even on those, but we're going to stay away. Instead, lay the points here. I make this 8, 9, almost 10 points here against an Atlanta team that's coming off a back-to-back. I know Trae Young has been dealing with some back spasms. That's something that can pop up at a moment's notice and really could be a problem. Again, even if he's healthy, I love this matchup for Brooklyn. They have plenty of scoring there at the guard position where Atlanta is kind of weak defensively. Atlanta's strength at bigs is kind of negated here because Brooklyn's not interested in running that much through DeAndre Jordan. Love the 6 here. Happy to lay this. If this moves to 7, grab some 7 too.
I won't play. I'll probably play the under. When I pick and choose, I should need to either play all your NBA or none of it. Because when I pick and choose, it just goes to shit. Like when I picked the Oklahoma City and not the Bulls, Oklahoma City did not cover by like a point or two, and the Bulls +4 won by like 20. So enough of that. I played James Madison -3.5. down in the Colonial Association. It got steamed against me. Somebody really likes Towson here. I don't know if I'm missing something. I don't care for the Towson Tigers. They're all right. I mean, they do a few things all right, but my James Madison Dukes, the fastest tempo in the Colonial, the best 3-point shooting team in the Colonial against a very bad 3-point shooting team. It's a 3-point shooting game nowadays. It's not the NBA, but it certainly does help. So I just have too many technicals going highly on James Madison to even think about not supporting him here. I made this like 7. I guess I don't know if I'm way off. Some of these smaller conferences, I show bigger disparities in the pricing. That's the only way I will play a favorite if I make it pretty big, pretty far off. So James Madison Dukes, I played 3.5. You can get an even better number. Towson does have a strong alumni betting association, somebody says. So yeah, and Towson has a key player back today, which I don't handicap player level stuff unless it's at the higher level schools, which I don't even bet that much. So sometimes that comes and bites me, but I don't think anybody's really worth much. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can correct me. I'm not sure if he played. They played James Madison about 10 days ago, lost by 8 or 9. So I will take my JM to the bank today. Hopefully it's the only bet I'll have on the board. I will be looking for some more stuff for there should be a big fat Thursday card for tomorrow. So
yeah. I like what you talked about for the player stuff. I think we talked about this probably off air, just in chats and stuff. In the NBA, where you have kind of big players in every team, I think maybe player level stuff's a little more important versus college, where I think people tend to remember examples like Steph Curry on Davidson more than they remember the fact that most of these guys are pretty much interchangeable, especially at some of these lower levels. So I think you're right. Every once in a while, maybe you get bit a little bit, but I think you probably win going against that angle more than you lose going against it.
Yeah, I'll live with it. I maybe the Towson steam makes a little bit of sense, but I still make it a big difference. So James Madison was the shortest president. Little fun fact from Patrick there. All right, golf or one more thing. Give me one more thing. I don't want to talk golf.
All right, we'll give the folks some tennis. I was missing yesterday. We won our parlay earlier today, which was great. They did play a little tennis in Antalya, so we might finally get to the picks that we've talked about already. Our Tabner Munar over, our parlay with Greek Spore and Bassetti. But today we're going to add an underdog at a nice price. Dennis Eisteman, might be Easteman, I'm not really sure. Plus 180 against a guy that I'm not sure why he is such a big underdog here. I have this much closer to a pick 'em. I think Easteman should be like plus 125, plus 130. So a decent chunk of value on him at plus 180. I think he's an older player, but maybe being underrated here a little bit. So happy to grab Mr. Easteman at plus 180. And this should probably happen. Again, don't have the schedule yet since Kemper's actually happening right now. This will be in France. So probably I would say between 4 and 6 in the morning at the earliest East Coast time, something like that. But let's grab Dennis.
I will tweet out a funny picture of Dennis Easteman just because I have
a good goggle pick.
I know I already have one. Yeah, the goggle pick's awesome. So, all right. We talked a little golf yesterday. I made some plays. I made like one play and talked about a couple edges that I had, but we'll bring in somebody a little smarter than me when it comes to it. My golf mentor, big part of what got me into golf. We've had him on before. You know him from the For Profit podcast. He's a 4 handicap. He's a good looking dude. He has a beard like us. We only bring bearded people on, apparently. So, J-Maz.
What's up, boys?
How are we doing, James?
I'm great. Great. It's a weird, stormy day in California, so I'm happy I didn't get booted like our friend Noops there.
Yeah, I'm the only. It's ironic of all the troubles I had early in my podcasting career with the internet that I'm the one who is standing strong with my 100 meg.
Love it, man. Good stuff. Ready to talk some farmers?
Yeah, and this was the first one I really dove into for the year. I'm in some one and dones. I've played those. I'm in some, I've played some head-to-heads that people have like spoon-fed me, like, hey, this price is wrong, you should bet this. So I played a little golf, but this is the first tournament I've actually dug into. And of course, it's a pain in the ass one with the, there's two, and maybe you explain it better than me with the 2 courses and what they're doing here.
Yeah, so I mean, this is really the first tournament of the year where you're gonna have a big star-studded field. Torrey's hosting the U.S. Open, so even then you're gonna get even more guys. They're gonna come back to this course in January, although they're only coming back to the South course because in this tournament they split it between the North course and the South course. There are some differences to the two. The South is the long one. It plays it's the longest course on tour. They could tip it out to 7,800 yards, which is just wild. They can make it a par 71 if they want. North Course has been renovated recently, I believe 2017. Made it a little tougher. They put Bermuda greens, so you have one with Bermuda greens, and Torrey South notoriously has those fun POA greens. And North has a little more dog legs, a little more workability, but it is a lot shorter, so they will go lower there, although not as bad as it used to be in terms of the difficulty discrepancy between the two. But the South is the star. I mean, that's the the major venue. And so for me, I'm looking. The only real way that I incorporate that into my handicap is I will leave a little bit of room for outrights for guys who played well on the South Course. We're moving to the North Course, but haven't the market hasn't reflected that quite yet, right? So they'll be 2-3 under on the South Course. They'll lower their odds from their outrights, and then boom, North Course, they can go absolutely bonkers and fly up that leaderboard. So that's the only real way I factor it in.
Yeah, I didn't. That's kind of on my docket for this afternoon. Everybody was just kind of waiting for tee times to see who played what course, because half the field plays the easy course first, half the tour plays the tough course. So I'm looking for some guys who I think can really excel on the easy course. Yeah, the easy one, but don't play it right away, because I want those guys to shoot like 69, 70 on the tough one, and maybe they were a 25-1 and they get dropped down to 40-1 for an outright and some value.
It's interesting because for years, I'm talking like, I think it was a 15-year stretch. I think it was noise personally, but for like a 15-year stretch, guys who started on the South Course ended up winning the golf tournament. Then the last 2 years, Leishman and Rose started out on the North Course. Rose shot like 62, so he was basically wire to wire. Started on the North Course, went to the South Course and won it. So, some guys will say that you want to start on the South. I don't necessarily care, but you can grab value from those guys who do start on the South.
So when you talk about the South Course, the easier the two, I mean, what makes it so particularly easy? It sounds like you guys are both looking to attack players that are there. What kind of qualities are you looking for in golfers when they play that South Course? What are people going to need to really attack that?
So it's the North Course is actually the easier one.
Oh, sorry, the North Course.
Yeah, that's okay. It gets confusing. And I love this golf tournament because Torrey Pines holds a special place in my heart. I've played both those courses a ton of times, going to law school down there, playing it for $40-something as a poor student. So these courses, to me, they're like, I know them like the back of my hand. North Course is just short. These guys are be able to cut corners. They're able to, they're going to have wedges into every green. The greens are new, right? So they're really pure, and they're also Bermuda grass. And a lot of the guys prefer Bermuda to POA, for the most part, just because POA is a surface that gets real bumpy in the afternoons, and you're going to see a lot of, you're going to see some sun as well. So, they don't like to putt on it personally. And the other thing with the South Course is the South Course greens all go towards the ocean, so they're very difficult to read. Whereas the South Course or the North Course greens, they've rebuilt it so that doesn't really factor in as much. So just tee to green and through the greens, it's just a straight up easier course, mostly due to the distance, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I could go for a shorter course if I was playing one. Just give me a bunch of reachable par fours. So
yeah, I mean they're hitting wedges into these things.
And there used to be things too where, certain sports books, certain offshore sports books, like when they set these lines for a head-to-head, which is to say, who will finish better for the entire tournament, they take guys who are similarly priced in the outright markets. Like a couple guys that are like 40 to 50-1 are going to get matched up. They don't often, take somebody way at the top and match them up with somebody in the middle. So there was some certain books that would do this, and they would match up players. And for some reason, no matter what, if they made themselves a full tournament matchup, they would also make a price for day one, for Thursday. And every once in a while, you would get somebody where and it was just a derivative. Let's say the Knicks are -10. They're going to be like -6 for the first half. Like they were just using their derivative algorithm to price day one. But then you'd find these two players aren't playing the same course on day one. Like this price is incredibly wrong because one is playing a course that plays like 2 shots easier. And if you say if your model says these players are very similar and maybe this price is even a little bit tilted your way, then you throw that in it. There was some really funny edges to be had. It's a thing of the past, but it's just something to keep an eye open for as far as, when you are handicapping these funny tournaments like this.
Yeah, no doubt about
Has
it.
most of that stuff been weeded out? I was trying to think like maybe I know you can bet individual round scores. Are they at least smart enough to go through and make sure everybody could kind of move there? James, obviously one of my favorite markets, and I know one of your favorites is his first round leader.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they can't have one of those, or how does that even? How do you even try to do that?
They used to just throw everybody up there, and they didn't care what course they were on. They would price them just the same, basically a derivative of their outright prices. And so you just hop on the North course, grab everyone, and know that you have an insane value on the market. Now some books will offer only North course first round leader or only South course first round leader, and then some books just don't even offer it anymore when they have split courses. You only get this split course during the West Coast swing, right? So last week in the desert for the American Express, this week at Torrey Pines, and next week at Pebble Beach are really the only times you get this situation for the West Coast swing. So it didn't happen enough early in the early days for anyone to catch it, but now they've kind of realized that it's a little more efficient.
Yeah, I have seen some people. I don't want crowing's the wrong word because they're not bad people, but just some people, when you post a winning ticket, like, hey, I hit first round leader, and it's like it was first round leader, whatever. I believe it was M or Siwoo, whoever was the best on the Thursday course they played last weekend. Like some people have hit first round leaders on the split course stuff. So yeah, it'll be fun if we get once we get some of that back, once we get to the I don't want to say like the normal part of the swing, but the tournaments where they just play the same 18 every time.
And in that we get wave advantages, right? So there's maybe 5-6 times a year where the morning tee times have a huge advantage over a windy afternoon, especially when you get down into Texas. So it doesn't mean that there aren't any advantages in the first round leader market, just not quite the course ease one angle anymore.
Yeah, and the DFS people were all over stuff like that as well. Or it's just that was painfully apparent. Like the pricing was wrong on that, and smart DFS people always take advantage of things like that. That's why I don't play a lot. I did reserve a spot in a DFS, though. I have it on my list today. It's like, don't forget to enter a lineup, otherwise you just lose. You're gonna lose anyway. But and I mean, here's a good just process betting, general gambling thing. Is like, there's so many people that just don't know how dead heat rules work too. That's a tricky one, especially now with all the live offerings.
Yeah,
we've seen things where, later in a round there'll be live first round leaders and dead heat rules will apply. If you bet somebody at like even just minus 105, you're losing live. I've seen this where a person is live to be first round leader at a minus number. You can lose money on that bet, even if they win first round leader. If they have to chop that pot, you will actually lose money when you win that bet.
They will not return they won't return. Yeah. And here, look, if you're betting first round leaders and thinking you have like this huge edge, you're just doing it wrong, right? Like I've made it very clear. It's the most fun bet. It is not the biggest edge that we'll have throughout the week. So when you're betting this stuff, you have to keep that kind of stuff in mind. I mean, there's recreational betting and then there's actual edges, right? So in the first round leader market, is there a little bit of an edge? Certain weeks, yes, but for the majority of the time, we're doing it to have a good time. And it's the best bet in sports when you have you're sweating a guy down the stretch,
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I don't, I'm not done. I don't even want you to mess with my head too much because I've got my numbers and stuff.
Okay.
I said this yesterday and I'll say it all year. I'm probably not going to bet outrights unless I'm going to start tightening up a model, and I might be betting those points bets, like positional points bets.
I like that.
If I can pop down to IO rather than an outright. But for the most part, I'm just going to stick to the thing I've actually done decent at, which is full tournament head-to-heads, round by round head-to-heads, and bread and butter that. So I'm going to let you give me, and I'll play. I don't want to not play outrights. Like if I do a one and done, I'm going to probably play an outright on them for a few bucks just to miss. You can't have that FOMO. So if I do play any outrights, I'm just going to play what you played. Is there anything right now that's still well within range? Some stuff you like that you can give the listener?
Yeah, I still have, from what I understand, and I want to check this line before I make sure. And it's bettable way, way beyond what the line was. Jason Day is going through some serious swing changes to counter basically a back that didn't allow him to even play, right? So when you're completely changing your golf swing, and then you also get equipment changes that he has done. He has a brand new golf bag from driver all the way to a putter. He's going to a 2-ball putter after being one of the best putters on tour for years. He is sitting as a huge favorite to a guy that I know that you love because you always bet him because he's a ball striking machine. Corey Conners. Oh my gosh, this has moved away from me. So Conners is I'm looking at plus 120 here against Day. Conners is a ball striking machine, and what Torrey South especially requires is a guy who hits it long, who hits it straight, and then guys who hit greens because the greens are big, right? And but when you're off the greens at Torrey, getting up and down is very difficult. They're crowned. So every chip you're chipping up, which means you can't stop it. It's harder to get that spin on it to get to, leave it close to the pin. So I'm looking at a guy like Corey Conners, who's a ball striking machine at this golf course, who has like 4 top 10s in his last 5 starts, 3 top 10s in his last 5 starts, or 3 top 15s in his last 5 starts against a guy like Day, who's just broken and toying with the new golf swing. That moved away from me. So that's completely wide open. Do you have a number for that one by chance?
Yeah, I mean, I just scraped. I don't have updated numbers. I scraped Bookmaker, or I bet online like 2 days ago, and it was Conners was a dog. Conners was like plus 115 dog. So I was, which sucks because then you can't lay strokes unless you can find somewhere where it will let you sell no matter what. But
that would be awesome.
that is on the short list. Especially if he remains a dog, I'll probably have that one.
Okay,
because not only like. Without everything you just said about Jason Day's injury, the fact that the thing that carries him is putting might suffer. He's going through equipment changes, which is a nice fade. Like even without all that, I show a decent sized gap where I make it closer to a pick 'em anyway.
Yeah, and that's why I have a little extra unit on that one because of all that stuff. So yeah, I think
changing your putter is concerning.
Yeah.
It's never good when people are changing their putters. I feel like you should just have one putter for your entire life, and that's kind of the deal. Like especially if you're good at it, right? Like why? What are we messing with here?
Yeah, of all people to change their putter, this is the man who has been one of the best putters on tours for many years, and it is kind of wild. So, and everybody does go through equipment changes. Southpaw Hack says he has a plus 124. I'm probably gonna have to take a. I'm probably
go find those. There, I neither gets to me, so I hate to say I have a 15. So still
as always, shop around because you will see. I've seen books hang plus 125 and then another book it's minus 110. Like there's actually arbitrage opportunities in the golf market if you really want to get stupid with it. But yeah, definitely have a lot of outs for golf because for some reason they're wild differences. But in reality, when you see something that's way off from Bookmaker, probably try to respect the Bookmaker number a little because that is a sharper market. So,
well, and for the fact that Bookmaker took so dang long to even drop their lines this week, they had to have been getting molded in the back by some sharp guy, So I'm sure that they're pretty good right now.
Who knows what's happening there? All right, give me an outright before we go. I got one.
My favorite outright this week, I really do like Viktor Hovland this week. You're looking at a guy who hits it a long ways, picked up his second win. Although it's his second off-season win, and I don't know, anyone who's followed me knows how I feel about those events. It wasn't like a star-studded event by any means, but again, it's his second win. Hits it a mile. One of the best iron players in the world. Doesn't putt great. The thing about Torrey greens are they're not real undulated. Then there's POA, and they're funky breaking. So not a lot of guys putt great on these greens. So you're looking at, and that helps Victor a lot. Mostly because he has to be able to hit greens because he can't chip. The dude, it's like he literally has like the chipping yips almost. I feel like it's bad, and he'll admit it's bad. He'll lose strokes around the greens pretty much every week, but he hits it so well, it won't matter. All driver here. I mean, there's no real laying up. It's pretty wide open. The rough will be a little long, but not as long as it will be for the U.S. Open. So, like even last year, Leishman, he lost strokes off the tee on his final 18 and shot like 66 to win the golf tournament. So you don't necessarily have to hit it in the fairway here, as shown by that. But a guy who is, I think he's going to have a wonderful career. He's going to get a bunch of big time wins, and this would be a good time for him to start, I think.
And is that your one and done pick?
That's my one and done pick as well. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm in a one and done with you, so I have to fade it.
Yeah,
we picked the same one. We picked the same one last week. We're tied.
We didn't talk about it. We both on Finau. We didn't want to use them again.
We'll just be tied again. So,
yeah.
all right.
Let's the list. That's good.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate the
Anytime.
insight. And I'm probably going to bet some Hovland. You want to hit me with a recap there, Alex?
Love it.
NBA, we've got the Kings plus 105, the Suns -6. I would play that. Just stop there. Don't play it to 7. Brooklyn -6. I would play that -7. And then Dallas, Utah under 222. That is my final number there.
James Madison and whatever the hell it is right now. There's some 2.5s. There's some 3s.
I just grabbed
the
1.5.
Yeah, the ostrich, Dennis Istomin. Plus
And that actually starts soon. I was
Yeah.
misspoken there. I thought
Somebody in the chat hit us with
tomorrow,
that.
but he's in a couple hours.
It does
Thank you,
start.
Jonathan.
It starts early this afternoon. So if you want to hop on that, you don't have 3 days like you did in Antalya. And of course, James has given us the gorgeous Corey Connors, Jason Day fade, and some Victor Hovland. Victor Hovland outright. And we'll catch you tomorrow, guys.
Thanks, everybody.